From the dungeon, Richwoods High School in Peoria, Illinois, Clutch Sports Media is proud to present Big 12 boys basketball tonight. The Peoria Lions have come across town to do battle against the host, Richwoods Knights. Hello, everybody, and welcome into the broadcast. Joey Wright and Larry Larson. Larry, a quick intro here, about 50 seconds before tip-off. We just saw Peoria cruise to a win in the girls' game, now the nightcap of our doubleheader. We anticipate should be a pretty close one.
Yeah, we do, Joey. I mean, looking at these two teams, a storied rivalry within the city of Peoria. And Richwoods has not played a game yet this year, but Peoria has. They took on PND, and they fell to a very good PND team. I talked to Dan Ruffin, new head coach for the Peoria Lions, before the game. He said PND is one of the best teams in the state, so it was a good challenge for them, and they've had a good week of practice coming off that loss.
A couple of graphics flashing across your screen there. You get a look at Daniel Ruffin, we mentioned in his first season as the head coach of the Peoria Lions, replaces his father, of course, played at Bradley, played in the Sweet 16. They're not going to miss a beat, Larry, with Daniel Ruffin taking over. His father was there for years and led Peoria to lots of success.
Yes, Joey. I mean, that program always has high standards, and they always come and compete. Maybe their record isn't the greatest, but they're always going to come in with great athletes and have a good game. So I'm excited to see what they bring to the table under a new Ruffin era.
Lineups being introduced on the floor. We'll get those for you in just a second. Two sides of the coin, though. William Smith, the head coach for the Knights. Long time at Richwoods now. I believe this is his 11th season, and William Smith has this program ready to compete year in and year out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups. They are being introduced on the floor. We'll start with the visiting Knights. Pardon me, the visiting Lions. Being introduced right now. It'll be Cease Kane, the 6'5 junior forward, number 1. Lerone Allen Jr. is number 2. He's a 5'8 junior guard. Stayshawn Kelly, 5'11 junior guard for Peoria High School, joined by Deshaun Wells, 14 in black. He is a 6'4 junior forward, and Nathan Moore, a 6'2 junior guard, rounds out the lineup for the Lions. We mentioned coached by Daniel Ruffin. First season for him, 11th for William Smith. And Richwoods High School, their starting lineup is as follows. Isaiah Donald is number 3 in white. He is a 6'3 senior guard. He's joined by Jalen Brown, also a guard. He is 6'1 and a junior for this Richwoods team. Josh Reynolds, another junior. He is a 6'2 guard, 14. Number 21 is DJ Porter. He is a 6'2 junior freshman. And Jamari Winfrey being introduced right now, a 6'2 junior guard. He rounds out the Knights lineup. And Larry, we don't have to go into this level of detail now that we're doing video, but of course the Knights in white and the Lions in the road blacks.
It's a good look, Joey, white on black, and these Richwoods uniforms, I like the gray text.
I do
nice
too.
touch.
I do too. Richwoods at home, trying to defend the dungeon. No tip-offs in the IHSA this season. We will have things triggered with an inbound pass, and handling the honors is Nathan Moore for Peoria. We're glad you're with us. We are underway in Peoria. The Lions bring it up the floor, first possession of the game. And they're quick to dish down low. What a feed. Kane lays it in and puts the Lions ahead for the first time today.
Joey, we're going to see a quick pace from the Lions. I think we're going to see a quick pace from both teams, but especially Peoria High.
Richwoods working around the perimeter. Let's see what they have on their first possession. It's a 3 off the mark from Jalen Brown, not the Boston Celtic, the Richwood Knight. And the Lions are quick on the offensive end. A track meet early on, 40 seconds in.
Joey, I want to briefly touch on the atmosphere. It feels like a normal game in here.
It really does. There's a band. The cheerleading team is here for Richwoods. A lot of fun. No shot clock in Peoria. Taking advantage of that. A feed down low, and stepping back is Peoria. They find the basket, pardon me, as the Lions go ahead 4-0. And a quick play on the defensive end for Peoria. .651. Glad you're with us. ClutchSportsIL.com. Joey Wright and Larry Larson in with you as Josh Reynolds triggers this possession for Richwoods. And the Lions defense, they look good early on here. So the Knights are going to set it up from around the perimeter. Ball in the hand of Isaiah Donnell. Donnell, a key player for this Knights team. Second team all Big 12 a year ago, and he's forced back at the top of the key. Knights defense looking good early on, the Lions defense, the zone. And Richwoods is going to find the twine. Jamari Winfrey steps up and drops it in.
Joey, that's a nice look, and Richwoods looked very patient on that possession.
On the other end, Peoria, good defense from Richwoods. Richwoods pushes ahead. Winfrey stops, pops, and finds Donnell. And Donnell a take and a foul. Isaiah Donnell attacking the basket early on. Josh Reynolds will run over and have a quick word with William Smith. Relays the message to Jalen Brown as Donnell prepares for his first free throw of the night. Off on the first. If he had both, it would have been tied.
Yeah, Joey, I asked William Smith, I said, who do you expect to have a good game tonight? And he said, well, all my players. I hope they all have a good game. And I said, well, who should we really watch for? He said, Isaiah Donnell is a guy you're going to want to watch, second team all-conference last year. And he's a guy that was snubbed from one of those PJ Star lists, top 10 players. And a lot of players in this game, I think, are going to use that as motivation if they weren't included on that list.
Lions swinging around and finding the block. They'll pop it back out and set the offense up here. Just underway as Nathan Moore travels. That'll give Richwoods a chance to tie it. Those two misses from Donnell a couple of moments ago have a chance to be erased here. He'll trigger the possession. Good defense here on the inbound from Peoria, but Richwoods is able to get it in, and Josh Reynolds will take it up for the Knights. Reynolds handoff finds Donnell. Donnell couldn't get the screen. Donnell's in trouble, a double team. He's able to fire across the floor to Brown, and a travel called there against the Knights. So a couple travels here, Larry, and it's kind of how the first leg of our doubleheader started. The girls' game, a lot of turnovers really for Richwoods in that one. Ditto here.
Yes, that's a very good point, Joey, and a bit of a slow start offensively for both these teams. We got to keep in mind that this is the first game for Richwoods and the second game for Peoria High, so we're going to see mistakes like that.
We certainly will. There's one for Peoria. That'll be an offensive foul away from the ball. First foul. Going to go on Cease Kane. Pardon me, that's his second.
Checked in for the Lions, number 15, Tim Whitney-Williams.
Tim Whitney-Williams will come in for the Lions. 15 in black as Josh Reynolds will take it ahead again. Reynolds kind of running the point here early on. Donnell sharing a lot of ball handling duties, though, and he'll drive baseline and a pop, and he's on the sideline. Pardon me, the baseline. So, Larry, another unforced error there as Donnell stepped on the baseline.
Yeah, it happens, though. I mean, he was doing the right thing, trying to kick into the corner, but sometimes you just can't tiptoe the line quite good enough.
It's a tough line to toe, and it brings us to a timeout from William Smith and the Richwoods Knights. Glad you're with us. Peoria, as you see at the bottom of your screen, is ahead 4-2. Joey Wright along with Larry Larson and the entire Clutch Sports Media crew. Evan Johnson, our producer. Jonathan Michael is on our game camera tonight, and Matt Harrington running social media down on the floor below us. As Larry said earlier, it is a great atmosphere here at The Dungeon, Richwoods High School in North Peoria, Illinois. The band is here for Richwoods. The cheerleading team is here as well for Richwoods. And they're both putting on a nice show right now.
Yeah, Joey, this is part of the beauty of high school sports, just a great atmosphere. You hear the band. I was so excited when I heard there was going to be a band here because you hear the band and you think high school sports.
Exactly.
It's a lot of fun.
And even at the higher level at Bradley, they have their basketball band. They've been replaced with recordings this season. Just doesn't quite feel the same.
Certainly doesn't.
Peoria's offense is trying to set something up here. Swinging it around, and a little issue with our Peoria roster right now, and additionally the one that was given to us. Larry working hard to track down those corrections
Joey, I'm going
for you.
to
Yep.
take a guess. Daquan Brown, standout freshman for Peoria High, listed as number 10 on the roster. I think he's wearing number 44.
And that would stand to make sense. And Brown scored 10 points against Peoria Notre Dame a couple of nights ago. Lions opened their season with a loss in that one. So we believe Daquan Brown to be number 44 in black, and a couple of other things that we're working through, trying to get those fixed. We do apologize.
Sometimes, hey, that's
exactly.
high school sports. It happens. Numbers change. But, hey, above all, we're happy to be here.
We are thrilled to be here and glad you're with us on ClutchSportsIL.com. We do know Richwoods' roster is accurate, and Isaiah Donnell is slicing and kicking, and a three coming up for the Knights. Off the back iron, volleyball match ensues, and Peoria will come away with it. They clear it, and a step-back three on the way off the mark. Good defensive rebounding from both teams early on. It's Reynolds up for the Knights. Reynolds, a pop to the corner, pick and pop, and the three is in. Count it as a three for Jalen Brown, and the Knights have pulled into their first lead of the night.
That's a great look, Joey. We're going to see a lot of those in transition from both teams tonight. Just looking to drive and kick.
Jab step and a feed down low to Whitney Williams. Timothus Whitney Williams now in the corner. And a kicked ball violation. It'll stay home. See at the bottom of your screen, Harrington traverses the baseline, and he'll have a tweet up for you in just a minute. Clutch Sports IL on Twitter. Great place to stay up to date on all the local happenings from around the area. As Peoria inbounds, and it's Austin Jones at the top of the key. Jones, a screen and a feed. That's a feed to Elijah Love. Love goes to work.
Oh.
It is blocked. It's swatted.
Joey, look, the sideline for Peoria High is having their arms in there looking for a goaltend, but they didn't get it.
It was close. It was borderline, and that's going to allow Jamari Winfrey to get in unabated and lay it in on the other end. And it's a physical area in the paint right now as Donnell hits the floor. He's up, and a foul is called on Donnell. Foul on the floor, and the Lions will inbound.
Foul's going to be on Donnell. His first, the Knights' first.
Couple of substitutions. Out come Reynolds and Brown. Carlos Beck is in. Jeremiah Welch has been in for a little bit. And the other substitution is Michael Wolmer, 11 in white. And Wolmer's on defense right now against who we believe to be Brown.
Who we believe to be, oh man.
Got to qualify it. Brown, and he goes up, and he is fouled. And Larry, had there been no foul there, that would have been another clean block.
Yes. Very physical matchup, Joey. That's what we expect, especially a city rivalry, a city game. These two teams are very good, very athletic. It's going to go quick. And as a result, you get a lot of banging bodies.
It's been a fast-paced first 5 minutes. Richwoods forces the turnover, and Donnell will take it ahead. Donnell trying to take it all the way, and a foul on the floor.
He ran into a brick wall in Elijah Love there in the paint, Joey. I mean, he was going full speed ahead, and all of a sudden, boom, stopped, knocked to the floor.
Elijah Love stands at 6'4", and we don't have his weight handy, but he is built such that all of that 6'4" is utilized, shall we say. He is an imposing force down low, and that'll be a quick travel from Richwoods. Winfrey a little too quick.
Joey, I've done some further investigating, and I can confirm that number 10 or number 44 is Daquan Brown, because he's listed on the sophomore roster as Daquan Brown. So that's how we've arrived at that hypothesis, but a little number confusion.
We're still working through a little bit of that on the Peoria side. We'll get that taken care of in due time, as the Lions offense is going to work with Love up top. Daquan Brown gets it in transition. Pardon me. That was 34 for Peoria.
Allen makes a layup.
I believe that's Allen. We'll take a guess on that as Richwoods is on the other end. Rebound corralled by the Lions, and they'll push it ahead. Here's a feed in transition. Transition to Love. Love spins and wins. 8-7.
Joey, I'm surprised at how low scoring this game has been. The defense has just been phenomenal, so physical. And we touched on the physicality, but there's another block in the paint. These teams resorting to go in the paint, not a lot of shooting threes from deep range. So it's going to be interesting to see if that changes as the game goes on.
1:40 to play here in the first. And a foul is called.
24 more back on for the Lions. 14 Reynolds checks back in for the Knights, as does Markel Newsom here for the first time.
Some subs here for the Knights, and we'll see a lot of those, especially for Richwoods this game, considering that this is their first game of the season. You just got to keep the subs rolling if you're William Smith. And he said before the game they've had a lot of good practices, 8 in fact. You got to do what you can in this season.
Out of bounds. That's a seamless transition back into the broadcast. Did you hear that? It's like
I'm sure they heard you take your headset off.
Probably.
Asleep at the wheel there. That was quite the inbounds play.
The Lions will feed down low, and getting up and finishing, Peoria. Peoria back and forth like a volleyball match. And Reynolds will feed in transition. And a kick to the corner. And Wormer. Now a feed down low. Feed intended for Welch. Nearly intercepted. Knights get it back. Still loose. That'll go off of Richwoods. It ought to. No, they'll call it off of Peoria, and that'll go off on Jones.
Joey, number 34 is Lerone Allen. We're going to go ahead and come to that conclusion.
And Matt Harrington, our social media correspondent, we sent him over to the scorer's table to clear this up.
Yes.
So get to the bottom of this in due time. We apologize. 10-7 Peoria, and a couple of players we have been able to call have been making an impact. Reynolds, the finger roll, no dice, batted around, and the Knights are going to come out of it with another chance. And Wormer looked at the three, didn't take it.
This feels like a big possession, Joey. Low-scoring game, not a ton of scoring opportunities so far.
30 seconds left, and a feed out of bounds, and they'll say that was last touched by Richwoods. And coming in for the Knights will be Marquise Todd for the first time tonight. So, Larry, the Knights have a chance, the Lions have a chance to finish this half with a basket, this quarter with a basket, I should say. Do you think they hold, or do you think they keep pushing the pace?
I think they will hold. It looks like they're going to set up there with these three guards alongside the baseline. And especially, they've already got a one-possession lead. If they can pick up one bucket at the buzzer, that's so much momentum.
Amarion Young, ball in hand, 10 seconds left. Young is in trouble. Young has it ripped away. Towards the sideline we go. Everyone hits the deck. And that was DJ Porter going at it for Richwoods. Porter looked like he might have taken one to the head, but he's up and back and ready to go just the same. And after all that, the Knights will watch Peoria inbound with just under 4 seconds left.
This will be fun to watch, Joey. We'll see who. Looks like they're not going to go for a lob. They're
Young
go
to
for a shot.
trigger at the buzzer. Peoria in. And that'll be Wells on the buzzer beater for the Lions. Deshaun Wells. How about that from the 6'4" junior forward?
Yeah, Joey, for a minute, sometimes you think that they'll throw in a lob, probably not from the sideline, but they just went straight ISO. They drew Wells into the backcourt, they lobbed it right to him, one crossover, and that was all it took.
So Deshaun Wells puts the Lions ahead by 6 as we enter our second quarter of play. And Laurie, what do you say we hit the reset button a little bit as we start to pencil in the numbers on this Lions roster? They've played well. Deshaun Wells with 5 points to lead all scorers presently in the game and all scorers overall. Lerone Allen Jr. has 4 for the Lions. He has had a nice performance to this point.
We've seen a lot of high-level play, Joey. I'm especially impressed with the Knights. They're on the losing end right now, but this is their first game of the season. They've had 8 practices, but they've shown up and competed at a very high level in a very physical game with the Lions here, who already have a game under their belt.
That's right. The Lions played a very good Peoria Notre Dame team a couple of nights ago. Came out of that one on the losing end. The Knights are led by Donnell. Anders is their leading scorer in the second quarter. Set to key this possession is Jamari Winfrey. And Larry, with the very limited attendance, just a couple of non-band, non-player, non-cheerleading personnel in here, it still has that feeling of a crosstown Peoria on Peoria battle.
Oh, it does. It does. That's the fun of it, I mean, especially with the band and the cheerleaders as well. Cheerleaders just cleared to attend IHSA basketball games.
So we're back underway. Peoria and Richwoods takes it ahead. Good defense early from Peoria, along that baseline, sideline, and as the Knights try to feed to the corner, they have Winfrey. Winfrey in trouble. Winfrey kicks to Brown. Brown going to work, tripping and falling, and a foul. And thank goodness, Larry, that he got the foul call for his efforts there.
Yeah, no kidding, because he hit the deck hard. That's one of those that you can hear up here. And obviously in an emptier gym, we can hear a lot of things on the court that we probably wouldn't be able to hear otherwise, but no less, hit the deck hard.
With a thud, but he's up no worse for wear, and free throws coming up for Brown. And Brown sinks the first. Brown, a 6'1" junior guard. That is his first point of the night, but we've called his name a lot. Sets things up for his second free throw. And he got it. So a 4-point game. Back and forth early on. And the Lions looking and feeding and finding Lerone Allen Jr. Allen Jr., the 5'8" junior guard. Picked up by Brown, and now they swing it around the perimeter. Nathan Moore. Moore shades off and finds Stayshawn Kelly. Turnover. Here goes Richwoods, but not before Wells is able to get back and get it. Still swinging around. It's Kelly. Kelly a feed down low. Goes high-low to Wells. Richwoods defense says no, not this time. And around the world we go. And a good look here at the wing, and a 3. There's a nice one from Lerone Allen Jr. So Allen, a big 3 for the Lions. Richwoods facing its largest deficit of the game along the baseline. It's kept in. And Donnell will set up a play. Donnell doesn't like what he sees from Kelly there on defense, and ultimately he's able to drive in and draw the foul.
Joey, I think we're starting to see some early signs of fatigue from Richwoods. I mean, they're playing in their first game. The subs have been alternated very well by Coach William Smith and everybody at Richwoods. They're cycling their players in and out very well, but they're still, you can tell, they're getting gassed a little bit, and playing in the masks is another factor to it. It just takes some adjustment.
Certainly does, and the first free throw in from Donnell. And we've done so much as a society with masks over the last year. Playing high school basketball, not anything these players had gotten a chance to do for however many months in their masks. As it's a 5-point game and a high-low. That's a nice feed to Wells, and Wells cleans it up. Wells has had a nice game, Larry. 7 points thus far.
Yeah, and they've been tough to come by in the paint. Richwoods has done a real nice job clogging up the paint.
Josh Reynolds, pump fake, and a 3 off the iron. Rebounded by Donnell, and a turnover. It was intended for Reynolds. Reynolds gets back on defense, And he's called for the block, and there wasn't a ton he could do there against Nathan Moore, Larry.
Yeah, Moore was in transition. That was a lot of miscommunication on the Richwoods end there. Lob pass into the backcourt that wasn't met by any sort of player, right into the hands of Moore, and he just got in the way there, and that's all you can do sometimes.
Nice little jab. I like the fake. Ultimately, it didn't key a basket for the Knights. Big possession, trailing by 7, and Peoria to inbound in enemy territory. Just joining us, it's been a back-and-forth affair for first 10 minutes of game action or so. About 6 minutes left here in Q2. And Brown will inbound for the Lions. Brown trying to find Kelly, gets back to Brown. Did a nice job there as Kelly's pass deflected and intercepted. Here goes Donnell. Donnell running, gunning, feed down low to Brown. Brown got up and couldn't finish at the rim, but it's cleaned up. No, yes, third time's the charm. And third time's the charm for Jeremiah Welch.
That's what you got to do if you're the Knights. That's how you get momentum back. Nothing kills the opposing team like an offensive board and a second chance bucket.
So after Welch's bucket that makes it a 5-point game, he hits the floor on defense there against Brown. Kane looking and finding Allen, and Allen the kick to Kelly. Kelly 3 off, rebound Brown. And Brown back. Brown defended by Brown, and yes, the Brown on Brown crime that time favors Peoria.
It's going to be called against Brown, his first.
Luckily for Richwoods, that's Brown's first foul, so in a pretty clean game we've seen. We've had a couple of whistles, 4 fouls. But
Knights in the bonus.
Yeah, but no one's in foul trouble. As that is short off the mark, and the rebound taken up.
Oh, man. Kane was right there at the doorstep.
Kane couldn't finish. Brown the rebound, goes back to Kane, and Kane over a couple of towers finishes.
There you go. And Kane, one of the tallest players on the floor at 6'5", you can expect a lot of that from him.
3 for Richwoods, in and out. Kelly couldn't finish, or pardon me, Winfrey for the Knights. Feed down low. Nice pass, better finish. Deshaun Wells says hello. And a masked timeout, this will effectively serve as a timeout called by Peoria.
And a good timeout, Joey. I mean, Richwoods down by 9 here. You got to reset. And we saw this in the first game tonight. Peoria High started getting some momentum, building that momentum, and it was close back and forth. Teams trading buckets, but you can't let that get away from you. And as soon as you take a trip down the other end of the floor and don't score, it can turn into a run for the Lions, and that's what it is right now. So a good timeout from William Smith and company.
He takes the timeout down 9. And to recap it for you, 4:31 left in the half. 9-point game, a game that started out with some early miscues for Richwoods. They've overcome those, but Peoria has been tight on the offensive end and capitalized on a lot of shots. They are led right now by Deshaun Wells, who has 9. And the second leading scorer and the only other player on the floor who has scored is Kane with 4. Josh Reynolds taking it ahead for Richwoods. Peoria drops back, zone look. Reynolds tries to attack, but he's got nowhere to go. Nice feed to Donnell in the corner, and they'll swing it around. Bullet pass. And Peoria the rebound. 1-on-2. Good defense there from Richwoods, Larry, and they'll have a chance on the offensive end. Pushing quick, right back to action is Winfrey.
Wow.
Winfrey, and 1.
What a shot that was. Off balance, he had a body underneath him. Somehow he got the shot off. Nice spin off the backboard.
Jamari Winfrey, hello to you, and Donnell will come out. Before the free throw, in is Carlos Beck. Winfrey after the nice move off the iron. And the Lions quick the other way on the miss. Here's an attack. No, stopping and popping, and in Nathan Moore.
using the backboard effectively. You could tell that bank was highly intentional. Beautiful shot.
3 on the other end. Another beautiful shot, Larry Larson, from Michael Womer. Womer in the corner answers the 2. We'll see what Peoria does on the other end here. Moore came to a complete stop, and he'll spin this time.
Wow.
And finish again. I was recapping the first play wherein he came to a complete stop and popped and puts him in the spin cycle. Womer. And deja vu ends there. Reynolds gets the pass from the rebound and floats it in, middle of the lane. Nice floater from Josh Reynolds, and a timeout called by Peoria. Good timeout for Dan Ruffin. His team's in a little bit of trouble as of late, it seems.
Well, not exactly trouble, but yeah, Joey, I get your drift there, because after Richwoods took the timeout, they came out and played much, much better. And now Peoria forced to take a timeout because of that. A lot of what we've seen is Richwoods trying to penetrate the paint and get those easy looks. You know, like Josh Reynolds, the guard, you expect him to take some shots on the outside. He drives the lane when there's some open space, and he drops in the teardrop shot. Those are the little things you got to take advantage of if you're Richwoods, if you see that opening in the defense.
Last basket from Reynolds was his first, so he has 2 points, and leading scorer for Richwoods on the floor right now is Winfrey, and Winfrey has stepped up to the plate of late. Lions out of the timeout will take it ahead. Lerone Allen. Allen double team. Now the double team recedes, leaves Reynolds on defense. And around the world we go here. Now feed down low to the block. And there's a pass to Moore. Moore up and drew contact. So Moore with a couple of free throws coming up at 2:49 in the second quarter. Could put the Lions back ahead by 8 with 2 makes.
And that's how you respond out of a timeout. That's how you respond to a Richwoods run. You go in, you get fouled. Get some free ones. Of course, you got to make them.
Missed his first, second, meets the same fate, but the rebound, loose, and Richwoods will come away with it. Reynolds pushes the pace. He's stopped in the corner. He's triple teamed there for a moment as Womer swings, finds Winfrey, and it's Beck in the corner. Beck baseline, pop to Womer, and Womer just a little bit off. Reynolds keeps it alive, or at least did so for a minute, before Peoria emerges with a chance. And stopped at the wing is Moore.
Listen to that bench, Joey. So much energy.
Got to create your own energy when there aren't any fans or many fans in the building, and Richwoods doing that there. Richwoods slows it down, Peoria does, with no shot clock. And they force the miss and go on the other end. And Beck was trying to drive. Beck was stopped and fumble, ball's loose. Who was on the bottom of the pile? Jump ball arrow will favor Peoria.
Possession's going to go to the Lions.
Might see that play in Super Bowl 55 this Sunday.
So many football puns out there for the taking.
Only for the next 2 days, 48 hours.
Hey, well, hopefully we'll see Peoria High in football this season. So good. What a program they have.
Tim Thornton really running a nice program over there. One game that comes to mind, beat Centennial last year, was like 96-14, an incredible team they had. And they run and gun much like what we've seen on the hardwood here. Spin cycle, up, no dice. Deshaun Wells a little bit off.
A lot of these same players also play football.
Correct.
So it just shows you all around great athletes.
Attacking the basket was Donnell. Donnell didn't have anything, and Peoria quick on the other end and a 3. 3 coming up, and Lerone Allen drops it in. Allen a big 3. Responds and puts the Lions ahead by 9. Believe this is their largest lead thus far. Womer a feed to the corner. And Reynolds will try to respond. He's short. Rebound and numbers for the Lions. Here we go. Kelly couldn't finish, nor could Kane, but Kelly can again. I believe that was Kelly, Larry, that cleaned it up. No, it was Bo Allen.
Under a minute to go in the half now. Richwoods needs a response, Joey. We've seen how much of an effect timeouts have played on this game. First, Richwoods takes one, they come back. Then Peoria High takes one, and they come out really good out of the timeout.
Reynolds a three, couldn't hit it. Rebound, Richwoods, and an offensive rebound, cleaned up and in from Donnell. It's exactly what you expect to see from the second team all Big 12 player last year. And Peoria might try to hold this for the final shot.
Richwoods is going to make it hard on him.
They certainly will. Reynolds on defense right now. Spinning is Moore, and Moore attacks. Moore is fouled by Reynolds with 12 seconds left. And that won't lead to free throws, not in the bonus quite yet. A couple will come in for Peoria. Daquan Brown and I believe Whitney Williams also came in there. Moore at the stripe, it will be free throws. They called it on the shot, and the first is in.
Both teams in the bonus.
Pardon me. Yep, I'm looking at timeouts left over there. Obstructed view. 4 timeouts left for the Lions, but what is that, 9 fouls? I can't see on either scoreboard as I look over.
Lots of fouls.
Certainly, it's been a foul-filled game thus far. Richwoods a chance here with 5 seconds left. They'll look. A look for Winfrey, buzzer in, off the glass. Jamari Winfrey. And Larry, he hit a couple of those shots in the first half.
Yeah, Joey, and sometimes you just got to improvise. He lost the basketball there, got it back, and all of a sudden he was on the other side of traffic. Defenders behind him, and whenever you're in that situation, you know you've done something right. So Richwoods goes into the locker room on a high note. They need to draw on those high notes, down by 9.
They certainly do, and we'll take a quick break. ClutchSportsIL.com, Big 12 boys basketball. As you see Peoria file into the locker room, we will do just the same. 33-24 at the half. Peoria leading Richwoods. Joey Wright and Larry Larson back for more after this. Back in the dungeon, Richwoods High School in Peoria, Illinois. Joey Wright and Larry Larson in with you. Big 12 boys basketball. And at the half, getting ready for the third quarter, just a couple of minutes. It is Peoria High School 33, Richwoods 24. Larry Larson, a lot of fouls, a lot of running, a fast-paced first half.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch. And, you know, looking at the scoreboard, the names who we thought would perform are performing. Deshaun Wells having a nice game with 9 points, as well as Nathan Moore with 9 points. So the Lions, Joey, they came out with a lot of energy. And when I was down on the floor before the game, you could hear the energy. And the layup lines, they're let's go, get hype, let's go. After a loss to PND on Tuesday, that's what you would expect out of this team. They're a good team that likes to win, needless to say. And so whenever you come off a tough loss against a really good team, you always want to bounce back. And they're well on their way tonight. They've played a really good ball game. Looking at Richwoods, I think the fatigue has played a little bit of a factor. Obviously, whenever you play your first game in almost, 8 months, 10 months?
Yeah,
it's been a while since they've played in-game competition. So they're hustling, they're playing hard, but I think they got a little gas. So I anticipate them to come out with a lot of energy out of the locker room and play a little better. And I think we saw that with the timeouts, because we saw a timeout from William Smith, and then all of a sudden Richwoods came out of that and played great. And then we saw a timeout from Dan Ruffin, and the Lions responded. So I'm going to be interested to see how the timeouts have an effect on the second half. We'll see if they play as big a role as they did in the first half.
Taking a look at the Lions, who, as Larry mentioned, are 0-1, lost to Notre Dame the other night. They were led in the first half by great effort from T.J. Whitney, stepped up with 9 points, and another 9 points from Nathan Moore. So Whitney and Moore with a big outing, and then for Richwoods, balanced scoring. They don't have anyone with one big number. Key player has been, as we expected to be, Isaiah Donnell. He has 5 points entering the second half, 3 points from Michael Womer. He hit a 3 at one point. Josh Reynolds has 2 points, as does DJ Porter. So just it's really by committee for the Knights tonight. No one player stepping up to dominate.
Yeah, Joey, and with Donnell, I think it goes further than the scoring column. He's involved in a lot of plays. He's passing the ball. He's a great distributor. And he's even involved down there in the rebounding game. One key I will say to the second half for Richwoods, I think, is going to be shutting down Ceci Kane in the paint. He's the biggest player in this game at 6'5". He's been all over the boards. Richwoods has to find a way to box him out in order to make sure that they don't allow a lot of second chance points.
Ceci Kane, number 1 for the Lions, 6'5" junior forward. He's made his presence known. As Larry said, goes a little beyond those 4 points for the big man. Just about set and ready to get back underway. Third quarter upon us. Joey Wright with Larry Larson, our whole crew. Evan Johnson just off to our right. He is producing for us tonight. John Michael on our game camera, bringing you the action. And Matt Harrington on social media tonight. He's down on the floor. If you see the guy in red taking pictures, that is him. Back underway. Josh Reynolds takes it up for Richwoods, and the Lions will get things moving here, and floating it in and floating it up is Winfrey.
Charge.
And a charge.
Almost a great start.
Yeah.
I think the band thought it was a good start to the half. Started playing the music.
Blocker charge, they call charge. So the Lions' first possession gets underway. And up go the North Street Lions here. Swinging around, they'll start it. Good defense from Richwoods. They try to go high-low to Kelly. Stayshawn Kelly sees his pass intercepted. So the Knights offense setting up now, top of the key. And Donnell. And Donnell to Winfrey. Winfrey and Donnell, the 2 key players for Richwoods thus far. And Winfrey is fouled on the floor.
Already 2 quick fouls for both sides, Joey. We saw Richwoods get into the bonus really quick. I think we can see more of the same here.
Lions running and gunning. They force the turnover. Here is Kane. Kane. And 1. Kane will have 1 more coming up at the line.
Kane to go to the line to shoot another one. Reynolds third and Richwoods second.
Kane coming up, and he got it. So,
Kane finishes off a 3-point play.
Gets the and one.
And Joey, that's the stuff you got to prevent if you're Richwoods. It's hard because he's flying down the floor at 6'5". If you get in the way, you take a charge, turns out being a block, then that's a huge momentum swing.
Fast break, here go the Lions. One-on-one, finger roll, yes sir. And the Lions lay it in. How about Bo Allen?
Great steal, Joey. He read that pass like a storybook.
Here go the Knights, 3 in the corner, on the other end, in and out, rebound, corralled by the Lions, and a feed to Kane. Kane up from the block and in.
Oh, man.
There's a big basket from Kane and a timeout called by Richwoods.
And they need it, Joey. Like we said, Kane is just lighting it up. He's looking so, so good.
Kane now with 9 points. That equals the output of his teammates. T.J. Whitney and Nathan Moore. So we stand at 40-24, third quarter. Glad you're in with us on ClutchSportsIL.com.
And it wouldn't shock me if that was a game plan in the locker room at half, Joey. Richwoods is a little disadvantaged when it comes to height. They've got Jeremiah Welsh at 6'5", junior forward. We have not seen much of him tonight, if not at all. I don't think we've seen him a little bit, but not much. And so they don't really have anybody who can counter Kane in terms of size. In athleticism, they've got a lot of great athletes, but the size has been killing them.
So the Knights on offense, down 16, largest deficit thus far, and that's not what they needed, Larry. Turnover.
It was a no-look pass from Donnell, and he was trying to get a little fancy with it. Had a teammate open in the corner, just couldn't find him.
Lions inbound, and Kelly will bring it ahead, guarded by Reynolds, crosses the timeline. Just over 6 minutes to play now. Kelly with the lane. Kelly will pop. Kelly, and a 3 no good from Moore.
You need a bucket here if you're Richwoods, Joey. The deficit is growing. Down by 16 now. You can't let that deficit get to 20.
Reynolds handoff to Winfrey. Winfrey poked away and a foul.
Probably a good foul call, Joey. The bench didn't like it, but a lot of contact. But I will say, this Lions team is so good at stealing the basketball. Great reflexes, jumping these passes. It's been impressive.
This is Daquan Brown. Highlight him as an impact player. And Brown, got called on the foul there, of course, but as you said, been adept thus far. Reynolds.
One thing, Joey, I was talking to the Peoria High coaches before the game about Daquan Brown. They said he's fearless. The guy's not afraid of anybody, no matter who they're playing, and I think we've seen that.
Foul on the floor there, and that was against Peoria. Fouled Porter there as he was driving. Knights really need a basket here.
They do, Joey.
Look at that, as Donnell really trying to call out something to his offense and get something going. They will call a foul on Peoria there before the inbound. That'll go against Brown, Daquan Brown that is.
4 fouls already in the quarter on Peoria.
Could be big. Knights approaching the bonus. Triggered in, Donnell to Reynolds. Reynolds to the corner and Winfrey. Winfrey, a little bit of a lane. Nice pass to Brown. And now Reynolds will try to feed down low. Pass was intercepted. Lions were right there. Fast break, one-on-one, I should say, for the Lions. And a foul is called. We'll see if they call that on the floor. And that'll go against Winfrey for Richwoods. And on the shot, 2 coming up. Winfrey's third.
Now he's in some foul trouble, and that foul trouble is going to come into play, I think, for both teams, Joey, just because of how many whistles have been blown in this one.
First free throw in from Daquan Brown. Brown now a 10th of the output he put in against Notre Dame a couple of nights ago. 1 point tonight, had 10 in the loss on Tuesday.
Number 5, Young.
Marion Young.
Yep, Young is in for the Lions in relief of I believe that was Moore that checked out.
Was Nathan Moore.
Nathan Moore to the bench. And Brown, a couple of dribbles, his free throw in. So he has 2 now, and more importantly, the Lions lead by 18. 42-24.
That grew in a hurry,
It
Joey.
really did. It was a 9-point game at the half, so a 15-point output here in the third quarter. I'm not sure if it's a 15-0 run, but they've tacked on 15. It is a 15-0 run, as Evan tells me. So yeah, they have come out at a torrid pace here to start the third. Knights need some help, and they need some in a hurry. And they're the only ones that can help themselves as Donnell drives off the block and in.
That's what you need to look for, Joey. He got the advantage on his defender, got ahead of him, and used his body to defend the shot.
So Donnell cuts the lead. Now stands at 16, and we'll see if the Knights can build on that. Jab step, and Brown will attack. Brown was looking, there's a turnover. He was looking for Timothy Whitney Williams. And off it goes.
Now we see a bit of a full court press look, and that shows you that Peoria, they just want to put this thing away. They've been running the full court look a little bit here and there throughout the game, but they've been producing a lot of steals, so why not?
Foul there will go against Peoria's 15, Timothy Whitney Williams, his third, and Michael Wolmer getting set to come in for the Knights. And he will inbound the ball. And we'll use this opportunity to take a mask timeout with 4:31 left in the third quarter. Glad you're with us on ClutchSportsIL.com. And as you see at the bottom of your screen, Clutch Sports Media is on Twitter at ClutchSportsIL. Follow and stay up to date on the latest live coverage and the latest scores from around the area. Not a lot going on in the area tonight. As you've seen on our other ticker, we've got one final from the girls' side of things tonight, and of course we did that game a little bit ago. And Bureau Valley is at Weathersfield, or maybe I have that backwards, but they are in action tonight. And other than that, a pretty quiet Friday night.
We'll take this opportunity to remind you that tomorrow we'll be in Washington as the Limestone Rockets travel to take on the Panthers. Middle Illini Conference action. Washington took the win on Thursday night to open conference play. We'll see if Limestone can come back and even the season series.
Ought to be a good one. Talked with Washington head coach Eric Schermerhorn earlier this week, and so Limestone Rockets team he has his eye on. They haven't been towards the very top of the Middle Illini Conference last couple of years, but they are a good team. They return some firepower that won some big games last year. So yeah, stay tuned tomorrow, 12:30, as Peoria forces a turnover, and they will stop, they will pop, and Kelly will drop it in from the block.
They keep on coming. The buckets, they keep on coming.
Everything old is new again as Peoria gets back to the style of play that gave them the big lead off the mark Richwoods, and the Lions will take it ahead. Brown looking and finding Austin Jones. Jones did not start, but he's played 8 minutes off the bench and a feed down low. It's waved off. Timothy Whitney Williams took it up to the rack, and they will call that on the floor.
Joey, what a pass that was from Daquan Brown. No look on the inside of the paint. It's clean as a handoff. He just handed it, fell right into the lap of his teammate. He was right there.
Brown will trigger the inbound pass for the Lions. He goes up, the alley-oop, and if it was intended to be that, Jones couldn't quite finish, but he lays it in just the same, and the points will count for a 20-point lead.
And there, that lead hits 20, Joey. I said the lead can't hit 20, especially the way that Peoria High is playing right now. They are playing so well, and the Knights just have not been able to get anything going on offense. It's really remarkable.
They've been outscored significantly by 11. I believe they've been outscored by 11 in the second half, if I have that right, and they've only scored 2 points. So it's been an 11-2 run since the start of the second half. Feels like a bigger run than that, though. Feels like they've been outscored by more than 11.
Well, it's not even just the scoring, Joey. It's pretty much the lack thereof for me. That's the defense. I was just talking about it, and that's what's jumped out to me. I mean, Daniel Ruffin had this squad ready to go. I don't think they wanted to lose 2 straight games to start this shortened season. You can tell this team came out hungry tonight.
Certainly did. Still got to play 11 minutes of ball to seal it up, but they're on their way.
And, you know, on the flip side of that, Joey, looking at Richwoods, they've had their moments, but getting this first game under their belt is big, and I think moving forward they'll definitely play better.
Carlos Beck triggered that sequence by missing his free throw. Timeout on the floor, and it's taken by Peoria.
They were in a little bit of trouble down there, you could say.
A little bit. A little bit. And it'll be a quick 30-second timeout as we regroup and get ready to close out the third quarter. So, Larry, is there anything Richwoods can do now? Down 20, you know, we've seen big comebacks before. It's not over, and especially it's only Peoria's second game, a little rust too. You'd figure this would be a good time to be down by this many.
Well, it's never a good time to be down 20.
If there is a good time, this is it.
Yeah, well, if there's a time they need to turn it around, this is it. You got about 10 minutes left in the ball game here. The only way to respond to a big run is by putting together your own big run. And so you just got to take it possession by possession. You can't get ahead of yourself. Get a stop here, come down, get a bucket. Get another stop, get another bucket. That's what it takes.
One possession at a time. Lions driving in, and nearly a turnover there, but instead we'll have a jump shot and a deep free throw for Love. Elijah Love, the big man, and as the PA announcer says, a long 2. Showing some range. Here's a bullet down low, getting up for the slam, one hand, Jeremiah Welch, and one.
Hello.
Oh my.
He put him on a poster.
Oh. Wow. If that's the spark that Richwoods, if that's not the spark that Richwoods needed, I don't know what is.
My goodness. Wow.
Welch, no dice at the free throw line. That's an early contender for play of the year.
Wow.
Here's Peoria the other end, and Brown. See if that has Peoria out of sorts at all. 3 from Brown. No dice, Reynolds the rebound. You always want to answer a dunk with a 3. They didn't do that, and now Richwoods a chance for a 3. Reynolds doesn't take it. He'll pass back behind him, nearly turned over. Passed up another one, drives in, floater no. Rebound
Joey,
Brown.
it's amazing what that dunk did for Richwoods. You can tell they're playing with more energy.
They woke up, but a feed down low and laid in by Love. Well, the dunk was nice, but they're going to need a lot more than that.
Yes, dunks are only worth 2.
Yep.
They're all worth 2. Unless you're beyond that line, then they're only 3. So that's the beauty of basketball. You can put up highlights, but you got to string together highlights to win games.
We'll have a chance here. Josh Reynolds, and now he'll call his teammates over. He'll be the trigger man here on the inbound. Do you think you? I know they'll go back on that and say it was a 1-on-1 situation. Correct call. 8 fouls for the Lions. So that changes things a little there. I was going to say on an inbound, Larry, I think you want probably to look for a 3 there or some sort of big play.
Yeah, I mean, you need something, any sort of spark, whether it's another dunk or a 3 or a good play, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Reynolds at the line, off the mark. Lead stands at 21. So here we go for Peoria, and they'll drive in and high-low, nice feed, TJ Whitney.
Well, Joey, that's how you respond. When you get dunked on, you just keep going to the basket, and they're getting those easy looks.
3 coming from the corner, off, rebound, Richwoods. They'll try to clean it up, couldn't do it. And Peoria will take it ahead. So here goes Peoria, offensive end, pulling up for a deep 2 is TJ Whitney Williams. So the Lions stay hot. Richwoods, the dunk woke everyone up, and That seems to be where that run ended.
Including Peoria High, though.
Three in the corner coming up, and that was Javon Brewer trying to knock that in. He couldn't do it. Now a high-low, and a nice feed back, and nearly a very acrobatic layup from Whitney Williams. And now the Knights drive, and finishing at the basket is Beck.
His first 2 points, and those are the buckets that you need. But going into the fourth, down by 20 plus, 23 points is where the deficit stands now. It's going to be tough. Just need another one of those buckets, and I think that's what Brewer's trying for right now.
Lions slow it down, and we both saw that. They looked for the deep three there with Moore, but
that would have been fun.
I would have been curious to see if he made that. Double team in front of the scorer's table, loose ball. Lions come out of it with it, and they will float one up. It was too far out to be an oop. And Richwoods will take advantage of that. They force the steal. 10 seconds left, quarter three. Needing a basket before the break. Kick to the corner and a three on the way. And in. Count it for Jalen Brown. 2-1 at the buzzer, half court. Just off the front of the iron, and that'll be where the third quarter comes to its close.
Well, Joey, I'll make a remark similar to what I made at the end of the first half. Richwoods ends the quarter on a high note. Now you got to string together the high notes.
Yes.
You need more threes. Something's got to give if you're going to break a 20-point deficit in one quarter. We haven't seen it this season because it's so short, but we haven't seen it in a while, but it's not to say it's impossible. We know that Richwoods has the talent because we've certainly seen it at times and in flashes, but it's all about stringing it all together.
It certainly is, and it stands at a 20-point deficit entering the fourth quarter. So, Larry, what's it going to take? Is it going to take more plays from Welch? I think it's going to take a little more consistent fundamental play than that, but
yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I think you got to knock down a few more threes, and you got to string together buckets and stops and put together some sort of run. You can't score 2 buckets and give up one more because that's not only dejecting, but, you know, just you lose time.
Certainly do. The clock started 1 second early. Down to 7:59 it goes. They'll add that 1 second back, and we'll get back to it. Peoria the ball to start the fourth quarter. And we'll see how this plays out as the Knights get back on defense. Bo Allen runs the point. Now and off to his right. And spinning down low.
Wow.
Off the iron. Count it for Clark.
Oh, my.
Pardon me, Love. Love a very acrobatic play. Back to a 22-point game. Womer, jab step, won't take the three. He'll look for Winfrey, pardon me. Winfrey loses the ball out of bounds. And last touched by the Knights, I believe.
I think it'll be last touched by the Lions, but
looks that way.
No less. You know, these are the things you got to take advantage of. You get the ball turned over to you, got to score. That's what the Lions have done tonight. They've picked up steals, and they've gone down to the other end and scored the layup. Got to capitalize on mistakes.
Wolmer's pass, intended for Todd, swatted away. That'll be off of the Lions, and Richwoods will inbound from just in front of the scorer's table. And the Knights will be quick to get it back in. They get it into Todd. Todd crosses the timeline, and we'll get to work. Todd tries to drive, and he's rebuffed and fouled. Would be the more accurate way to describe it. Or did he travel? He did. So that'll be a big turnover there for Richwoods, and 7 minutes even as the Lions take over. So, Larry, Peoria firmly in control of this one right now.
Well, I would certainly say so. Scoreboard indicates that. This is the response that you want after losing your opening game of the season. They've certainly found their footing, and I think that game on Tuesday probably says more about P&D than it does about this Lions team because If you asked me if this were the Lions season opener and you asked me if the Lions and the Irish were going to play today, what would the score be? I'd say probably, you know, a 2 or 3 point game. I mean, I think this Lions team can come back down the road and play P&D very well. They're very good, very deep as well.
A very good Lions team indeed. Knights did cut into the deficit there with a nice bucket from Winfrey, but they'll need to tack more together just the same. Driving in is Donnell, and Donnell fouled. Ought to be 2 free throws coming up for the senior. Mentioned the senior, second team all Big 12 a year ago. Josh Reynolds will come in after the first for Marquise Todd. And a big free throw on the way. And in and out.
I got to make the free ones, but you got the whole season to work on it.
Certainly do. First in a not a long season timeline-wise, but just with how many games there are back-to-back and the amount of volume crammed into the next couple of weeks, might have that feeling by the time it's all said and done. 37-56 on the free throw. And Peoria setting up on the offensive end. So, it's Brown controlling. Brown guarded by Brown. Jalen and Daquan, and a 3 in the corner. Peoria converts. Big 3 there for the Lions, who continue to pull away, and coast to coast goes Winfrey on the other end. Now coast to coast goes Kelly. Kelly
Whoa.
almost finished.
That would have been so impressive.
And Reynolds up for Richwoods. Feed down low, turning around and saying hello, DJ Porter. And Porter the spin cycle. 59-41 and a timeout called. Believe that will be taken by Richwoods.
Full timeout, and I think that's a good timeout, Joey. Obviously, I always hesitate to say a game is over before it is actually over. But we're getting to that point, and for Richwoods, it's the first game of the season. Obviously, lots to work on, but still a very talented team. And in such a short season, you were talking about it just a few moments ago, you have to capitalize on every opportunity you have. These are game reps, and you got to capitalize on those. You got to draw up plays, run sets, run your defense, run the man-to-man, run the zone, experiment with things. This is how you get better. And obviously, practice can do a lot for a team, but it can only do so much. You got to play the games. So these last few minutes, although it may not be that close, it's still very important for Richwood.
Absolutely, and you know, you bring up a good point there. You take some positives away from this one. You enter your next game with some momentum. You never know how that might turn out. Peoria inbounds. They're up by a good margin here. As we mentioned, Joey Wright and Larry Larson bringing you this one. Stop at the top and Brown. And turnover here. Here's Winfrey. Winfrey off the glass. No, loose ball, out of bounds, last touched by Richwoods.
Joey, before we, move forward from this game, I want to look at the upcoming schedules. This is something that we did with the girls' game. And the schedules play such an important part of a season, especially in this Big 12 conference. We touched on it in the first game, but it's just so spread out that it makes things difficult. If you get a bad schedule draw, if you have to go to Bloomington and then Champaign-Urbana and then Danville all 3 games in a row, you could be in some trouble. So looking at Peoria High's schedule, they've got Urbana at home, followed by Normal West and Danville all at home. And their next road game is here at Richwoods on the 19th. So that'll be a rematch. I'm sure Richwoods will play better in that matchup. And looking at Richwoods' upcoming schedule, they've got Normal West at home, Danville at home, then on the road at Bloomington and Normal Community.
Richwoods was looking for the charge there as Brown drove in. And we talked about it in the girls' game earlier tonight. The schedule in the Big 12 is so key. You've got so many road trips, so many long nights, long Tuesday nights, going from Peoria to Urbana, Peoria to Champaign, wherever it is, Peoria to Danville. It's a lot of good opportunity to catch a team on an off night if they're coming in from a long ways away or whatever you may have.
Especially this season.
Especially this season with, as we said, so many games and practices crammed into a short amount of time.
Well, it's almost like you're playing a college schedule, right? I mean, you look at the Missouri Valley Conference, you've got, because of course we do so much with Bradley, you got, 2, 3, 4 hour bus trips. Big 12 conference, for a high school conference, that's as close as you can get.
Yeah. We highlight the Danville to Peoria trip. That is always tough on a Tuesday. I mean, I can't even, especially because, they're high schoolers. They've got schoolwork and everything like that to consider as Brown knocks in the 3. It's tough. It's going to be a tough month to manage everything. But good that we get the sports back. It's something every high schooler wants is a senior season.
Yeah, no kidding. I think they'll put up with those 2-3 hour bus rides just fine.
I think so. They get so many good benefits to having a season. You get the tape for the college, you get the senior season, you get eventually in time, a lot of these schools will get to play in front of a couple of fans, so you get to play for family, maybe some close friends.
Either way, they get to watch you play, even if they can't be in the house.
That's right.
Maybe on Cliff Sports Media.
Perhaps.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky, on a good night. 61-44 here is Peoria, top of the key.
Oh, he almost shook his man there.
Well, we're seeing some nice moves here at this point. Game well decided for Peoria. Peoria with a torrid second half. If you're just joining us, entered this one with a 9-point lead at halftime. That ballooned to 20 at one point. I don't think it's grown more than 20, but it's been in that ballpark. Brown with contact, cleaned up by Winfrey. And Will Smith wants a timeout.
It'll be a full timeout, Joey. And again, as I was going back to earlier, these minutes are important. You got to work on things. I think that's going to be the emphasis here. Richwoods has played hard all game, and you got to credit them that. And that's something that we saw in both the games that we've streamed tonight on clutchsportsil.com. Despite the game not being the closest, both teams hustling, playing hard until the very end. But sure looks like PHS is going to come out with the sweep and bragging rights for now.
Yeah, big win in the girls' game earlier. If you were with us on clutchsportsil.com, that was a decisive win, and they're well on their way here as well. So now Peoria driving ahead.
Gaines now on the floor for Richwoods.
Jaden Gaines is in for the Knights. First time we've called his name tonight. He is, or David Gaines, pardon me. He's one of 2 seniors on the Richwoods roster, along with Donnell. And a foul called there as Jones drove to the basket for Peoria.
And Joey, looking towards the future for both these two teams, obviously we're in the present season. That's what you got to focus on. But building towards the future, Richwoods is going to have a very experienced team next year, and I think they can win a lot of games. Even this year, they're going to win a lot of games because they've got guys like Josh Reynolds and Jalen Brown who all played varsity last year as sophomores. So they've got a youth movement going, and that's how you build a program towards success. So if you've got young talent, well, you play the young talent, and that's what Coach Smith has done.
And that's another benefit of this season, right, is that young teams get that experience and can continue to build, whereas if there was no season at all, a team like Richwoods, or we'll use Richwoods as the example, with all that youth, they couldn't develop them this year. They'd have to rely on the open gyms and things like that.
Yeah.
Good for these younger teams that they get to play.
And really good for all parties,
yeah,
considering, a lot of players in this game and the games that we're going to continue to see, they're playing for college scholarships.
Exactly. You get the tape, the seniors get, to tape these games and send them to scouts. We mentioned this earlier, tough to scout or tough to do whatever on one-on-one scrimmages, against your own team or whatever it is. It's good to play other schools and other players, other talent, to know who's really got it.
Joey, I think that free throw kind of epitomizes Richwoods Knights. Richwoods Knight, I should say. kind of sat on the rim for a minute and then fell out.
Tough night for the Richwoods Knights.
Yeah. Whoops.
Under 2 minutes to play in the half, and that is almost to the scorer's table. Someone made contact with it, and Gaines loses it out of bounds. That one will go to the Lions. So Daniel Ruffin, minute 48 away from getting
win number 1
to 500. Yeah, win number 1, and what ought to be a successful career at Peoria High School.
Yeah, no kidding. And I talked to him before the game. He said it's been great so far. He said he's gotten a lot of support from alumni, a lot of calls from alumni. And, of course, I mean, knowing his dad, he ran such a good program, such a consistent and steady program that I'm sure he will do the same. You see kind of some similar things. Dan was very, very animated on the sideline when we saw him, and Daniel also very animated on the sideline.
His father was too. His father, the coach at Peoria for years and years, and yeah, you'd always see him. Didn't matter the gym, going at it. And
well, it's passion is what
just,
it boils
the
down
passion
to.
Is really showed through. And Daniel has shown a lot of that. And of course, played at Bradley many years ago. Was on the Sweet 16 team, 2006. Minute 20 away from win number 1. Josh Reynolds, whose father played here at Richwoods and then later at Indiana, now the athletic director at Bradley, Chris Reynolds. Facilitates nicely, and on the defensive end is Richwoods in a foul. Timeout. A lot of timeouts late in this one.
Well, you might as well. It goes back to what we've been saying over and over is you got to work on stuff.
Exactly.
Got to work on your sets, got to work on your plays. You can't waste any opportunities because you never know what could happen. Like we saw in Dunlap the other night. Game gets postponed.
That's right.
Something happens with COVID, whether it's on your team or another team. You get your game canceled or postponed. So,
and it's a tough Big 12. It's unrelenting.
Yeah.
Last season, everyone was good. No down teams.
I think we'll see some of the same thing this year. I mean, a few schools might be down. I mean, looking at around the conference, a lot of talent graduated. Schools like Urbana, your alma mater.
Yeah, lost 2 Division I players, Bryson Tatum and Chris Cross. But I tell you, Verdell Jones has built such a nice program there, and really a lot like we talked about. Michel Williams prides himself on building a program of character, integrity. I think the Tigers will put up a good fight this year with it's some young talent as well that was riding behind Tatum and Cross.
Sure, we'll run into them eventually.
Wouldn't surprise me. Chris Cross, of course, is at Carver Arena this week.
Yeah. Talking about that earlier. One of the best names in the conference.
Chris Cross. 60 seconds to play.
Warm it up, Chris.
Off the block and a foul.
Joey, it's interesting tonight. Sometimes I've had trouble hearing the officials' whistles. I don't know if that's just me not hearing the whistle or the officials just not blowing it hard enough through the mask or what. We were talking the other night in Metamora about an official that had a whistle kind of built into his mask. Maybe that's the case here and it's not quite working. I don't know.
Yeah, in one of our officials is not maskless, but he's got it pulled down. Well, now the other does too, and I can't the third. It's tough because as an official, you've got to pull your mask down to blow the whistle, but you want to wear your mask. So it's a tough situation for them to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them had what looked like a purpose-built officiating mask, but I don't see any of that tonight.
Joey, as we've talked, it's quietly become closer a little bit here. Can Richwoods draw within 10?
Free throw is off, so they still have a chance. It's hauled in, and the Knights have to go. Down 11. Driving is Donnell. Donnell out of bounds, but last touched by Jones.
He's got the right idea. Drive the lane, try to draw the foul. Tried to draw the foul, didn't get it. A lot of clean block there.
So Fours all
And
across. Go ahead.
Joey, I think they're discussing that Josh Reynolds fouled out. They're trying to figure out whether or not he has 5 fouls. I think they're trying to say that he is. A lot of confusion going on here.
And Reynolds.
Well, it's the scoreboard says he's got 3, but I don't think the scoreboard is completely up to date.
Yeah, he'll walk towards the bench.
Womer is going to be back on to replace Reynolds.
And Womer comes in for Richwoods.
Hey, everybody's still getting warmed up. You know,
Yeah.
scorekeeper, scoreboard, broadcasters, broadcast stream.
Yeah, an interesting deal there. That is his 5th. And going to work, Richwoods, foul.
Jeremiah Welch.
Welch with a big slam earlier.
Boy, was that something. My goodness. He wound up, too.
Certainly did.
It's 3 on Wells.
41 and 6/10 to play. And Welch had the play of the game earlier, that dunk. Just 4 points. The other 2 coming on a separate basket. Womer is out and Beck is back in. And in is the second free throw. So the Knights make it a 10-point game, 41 seconds to play. It is
Can they do it?
4-possession game. They've inched in a little closer.
Crazier things have happened.
Lions inbound and a quick foul. So they are fouling. I mean, they're hoping for misses. Double bonus for both teams.
That's what you got to do. And the double bonus makes it tougher. But got to do what you got to do. You got to play the foul game. But usually when you play the foul game, it's never good to rely on the opponent making a mistake. Especially when it's a good team.
Exactly, and especially when you've got a free throw shooter like Jones in the line, makes his first. And yeah, as we've talked about ad nauseum, this is a good Lions team. They were good last year, and they've got a lot of that core back.
They were good last year, Joey, but pretty much fell victim in a very competitive Big 12 conference that we've talked about at length.
Womer for 3 and a timeout called. Still
Okay.
a 9-point game, but
Okay.
they're right back to
3
single
more of
digits.
those. That's all you need, 3
Yeah.
more of those.
Well, yes, but it would be 9
and
more.
and then some.
It'd be 9 more of those if Peoria keeps knocking in free throws
Yes.
and you play that game. So we'll see. .32 seconds left.
Joey, we want to remind our viewers we'll be back to the Mid-Illini Conference tomorrow. Washington and Limestone getting started at 12:30 p.m. Little early afternoon hoops for you on your Saturday. ClutchSportsIL.com.
Mark your calendars. That's going to be a fun one. A good Limestone team, and Washington a winner in that matchup a couple of days ago. Foul before the inbound. But
It's going to be an intentional foul,
Yep.
Joey, I think.
certainly that was the intent. And
You know, that's funny. The wording of intentional foul is funny to me because at the end of games, a lot of fouls are intentional. It's not just the ones where, you know, it's clear path obstruction or what have you. But I guess it wasn't intentional. They don't call it an intentional, but hey. Uh-oh.
first free throw misses, so now it gets interesting. It's a Marion Young at the line, and Young has not been called a lot tonight. Knights have everyone down to rebound except Womer, best three-point shooter on the floor. And the Lions would have no one except Young to grab his own miss. Should he miss, and it's in. So moot point there, back to a 10-point game. 32 seconds left, and the Knights up the floor. Knights driving, Knights off the glass and tipped in.
Okay.
Cleaned
Got it
up
back.
an 8-point game. And a quick foul. That was finished
Cuts the Lion lead down to 8.
by Winfrey.
Winfrey's had a nice game tonight.
16 points.
Quickly rising up the scoreboard.
leads all scorers, but kind of a by committee deal for Peoria now, as
Yeah.
we said that thing, that same line about the Knights entering the second half, but Peoria now 3 players with double digits or more, and the first free throw off the mark. This could get interesting with a miss and a 3.
It already is interesting. Uh-oh.
Off the mark, rebound Richwoods, up we go, 8-point game. Knights trying to set it up. They'll attack the basket, Winfrey in, 15.2 left, and a timeout called by Will Smith. So,
hold on to your hats.
A little interesting here now. Both teams with 1 timeout left, if this Knights timeout wasn't their final. And that's ultimately, Larry, that's going to be what this comes down to now, is does Richwoods have enough timeouts to stop the clock after a made basket?
Well, they've got 2 left per the scoreboard now. It'll probably be 1. I don't know, maybe. It just depends.
They've taken it down to none.
Okay,
so
well,
like
scoreboard's a little behind, as we've learned tonight. But hey, keep your eyes on Michael Wolmer. He's the guy here. You need a 3 eventually. They've been going inside and getting 2s. You can only say, oh, we don't need a 3 so much.
They'll inbound. Yep, they inbound. They inbounded a little quick there. It looked like the clock was still showing the timeout.
Yeah. I think I don't know.
Interesting. So, 65-59. Richwoods has to hope for misses, but if the Lions lead by 4 or more with 5 seconds left, the game is essentially over, because Richwoods would then not have the ability to stop the clock after a made basket. So
we're doing a lot of math here.
Peoria only has to hold on for, oh, we've got a quick miss. So this is a bit,
oh man.
This is a huge free throw now. All of a sudden, Stayshawn Kelly at the line.
Oh,
and he's
my.
Short. Richwoods has to go. Richwoods crossing the timeline. They're going to attack the basket, and a turnover. Peoria will win it.
The officials swallow their whistles there.
Yep.
They called a jump ball, it looked like. That's interesting.
Jump ball will favor Peoria.
They were trying to foul, but the officials weren't calling it. That's interesting.
Didn't look like a lot of contact there.
Maybe they were trying to trap him. I don't know.
Like trying to force the turnover. And Richwoods, so it favors Richwoods. They'll get 1 shot up, but it'll be all for naught. The comeback effort will fall short. Deep 3 at the buzzer, and that is off the mark, and Peoria will hold on. Bit of an interesting last 40 or so seconds. And it's a 6-point win for the Lions, their first of the year.
Joey, what a win it was. They were up by as many as, what was that, 24? 23, I think, was their largest lead. Credit to the Richwoods Knights, just battling until the very end, never giving up. And that's why you say, never get up. It's not over until the fat lady sings. Fat lady wasn't singing until about 3 or 4 seconds left. And Peoria did all they could at the free throw line to make it an interesting game. Oh man, if only the fans at home could see the look on Dan Ruffin's face when they were missing the field goals. He was giving his players the side eye. Oh man, that was, came down to it, made it interesting.
It's Daniel Ruffin's first win at the helm of the Peoria Lions. The Knights fall to 0-1 in their first game of the year. Lions, of course, 1-1. And that'll about do it for our broadcast tonight from the Dungeon, Richwoods High School in Richwoods, Illinois. The Dungeon, of course, what they call the gym. I'm Joey Wright for Larry Larson, Evan Johnson, John Michael, and Matt Harrington. Join Clutch Sports Media tomorrow in Washington. Panthers and Rockets in action at 12:30. Stay safe.